among other things. We'll talk about the 133% ownership changes to AMC and how there are even more hidden swaps of AMC in today's video. First, let's look at this. Samuel talks about the swaps, and we recently discussed how he discovered all of the ones we've already discussed. However, there are even more for AMC than I initially could have discovered. We'll check the DTC database in the USA, but the problem is that these aren't appearing there. They are from old AMC, new AMC, APAMC, and BDR. We have obviously discussed all four of these in the past, but this is basically just a method of figuring out how many shares of AMCs have been rehypothecated, meaning that they have been used repeatedly to short AMC. We have also discussed how large this situation is, because by comprehending the swap situation, they are aware of the value that is clearly attached to this, and they understand that there are swaps with expiration dates. When it comes to it, they must undoubtedly cover these swaps, because they provide us with information about future volatility, the reaction of short sellers, and above all the extent to which they have suppressed and manipulated the price of AMC. Finding out how many shares are unsettled in the DTCC is one of the tasks that SC performs. As we have previously discussed, this relates to the swaps that we have previously discussed and is something that we have seen. For those of you who are unaware, or even for those of you who are, this is just a reminder that of the 555 million shares that remain unsettled, 9 billion in terms of the notional of all values unsettled. The average price of all shares H is 8.72 shares held back as far as 2018. So you can see what's clearly involved with all of this. Now we must understand that, even though the shares were held back as far back as 2018, as you can see, the volume began in July 2021 and then increased by more than 8 billion, making the total 9.6 billion. However, the additional 8 billion came from July 2021. Additionally, even at 872, remember that these are shares that haven't been settled yet. It's still higher than where AMC is right now, which is 310. This is because the average price of the combined price is 382. When you look at how much float there is for AMC compared to what should be there and what actually exists for AMC float, you can see how the average price and the difference between this price and the actual market price of AMC show all the manipulation that has clearly been going on. Thus, this is what we discussed when you compare the AMC price to its competitors and you see how it isn't moving as you want it to. It isn't going up like the others. And there are reasons why we aren't seeing the bullish pressure like this. Shows that J owns 133% of the flow, which explains why C market is rising. We also talked about how, as you can see, they are up 3.66% here and continue to improve throughout the year. We also talked about how the fundamentals don't really distinguish AMC from C market. In fact, if you look at the fundamentals, they're all getting better. And I would say that AMC is performing significantly better. The fundamentals improvement, however, is a major factor and the only explanation for why C market is rising while AMC is falling rather than rising. And a little because that isn't even taking place. Instead, AMC is just falling, not even increasing. This is because, as you can see, institutions own 33.9% of the float. There is only one possible explanation for this. The stock is rising because it will benefit institutions. Since AMC is a stock that will seriously harm these companies, it is obvious that it is being suppressed. They are discussing the fundamentals of AMC. Let's take another look at this. As you can see, their website has undergone some positive updates. For moviegoers 13 and up, new profiles are added every week with the most recent images and costs. AMC is obviously changing the way they conduct business. This is just one of many changes that will occur in the future. They are enhancing the way operations will function, which will eventually result in increased profits. The most crucial point is that you can determine a company's profitability by first examining its revenue and operating expenses. We will observe that AMC's situation improves. We discussed how companies can increase revenue or reduce operating expenses to increase profits. You can see that AMC's profitability is increasing and that its Fundamentals are improving as it increases both its revenue and operating costs. However, if you examine the evolution of COG and AMC prices, you can still see a difference. This is due to the fact that COG is owned by movie theater chains rather than AMC, as we have already discussed, because they don't want to have to pay enormous sums of money to cover their short positions with individual investors. They are keeping the price low. You should also consider your entertainment objectives. The debt of holdings has decreased by 17.53%. We have already discussed how lower debt translates into lower interest rates. So remember that the percentage drop is a positive thing. We can pay off our debt, which puts us in a strong financial position. This strengthens the foundations and frees up more funds for other purposes. It goes without saying that some will now attempt to expose weaknesses by dissecting AMC's foundation. Although AMC isn't flawless, believe their foundation is solid and will only grow stronger given their performance and overall business management. I'm curious about your thoughts because, as I've already stated, there will always be advantages and disadvantages, and perhaps some negative things will occur. In order to have a productive conversation, I would like to know what you all think. If you have any negative things to say about AMC that you believe they should address, please leave a comment below. We can spread the word in this way. AMC's management will notice this and take action to improve the situation. They are also tampering with it by increasing the AMC volume of exchange. The official volume appears extremely low as a result. This is significant because it demonstrates that AMC's price is 62% below what it ought to be. Given that AMC's price is reportedly declining, why would you still invest in it? It's among the primary arguments I always make in court, in the hopes that AMC apes would either abandon those shorts or move to red herrings. Pan purchased a number of arbitrary small stocks and promoted an idea stock for an additional year. A decrease in AMC's price indicates that sales are increasing once more. That isn't the case, in my opinion, when you look at the off-exchange. We know that a large portion of the volume and trades are rooted in the off-exchange. And since buy orders are the main thing that happens there, orders that actually have a positive effect on prices, but don't have that effect because they're in the dot. Allow us to understand what's going on because it could take us 3, 4, or even 5 times as many buy orders coming in for AMC to actually negate the sell volume. This is because, as we discussed in the past, there could be 100 buy orders coming in for AMC, but 95 of them are in the dark pool. There will only be 5 buy orders instead of 100, because only 5 buy orders are hitting the leg exchange. There will undoubtedly be more sell pressure if 10 sell orders are placed, but all 10 are hitting the lit market. But this doesn't accurately represent what retail investors believe about AMC, because it doesn't fully depict what is taking place. Because of this, I contend that AMC's downfall reflects suppression and manipulation more so than the opinions of real investors. As always, be sure to conduct your own independent research. I'll see you all again soon.